Hey everyone, this is Lynn Serrano with Live, Love, Laugh, and Let Go Out Loud. I am super excited about today's show because today's show, I have one of my newfound club member friends that I made there, and I'm super excited to have her up here. So before I bring her up, let me do a little intro video. Be right back with her. And this is Amber. Amber, my clubhouse friend. I'm so thankful and happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Reality hits live stream here. I want to welcome you here. Did you get to add this to your page?
I think so. I was trying to multitask, but I believe we might have got it.
Wonderful. And April's from the clubhouse and she's watching us. So today, thank you, April, for being here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And this is going to be a great show. You'll probably want to share this out because later we're going to get into the story about her having a nonprofit and how she evolved to get a nonprofit and a little bit about her son. And we're excited. We're going to take you down a little journey here. So we're super excited. So she's going to tell you really quick a little bit about herself, and then we're going to get going. So thanks for being here.
I always love those. Tell me about yourself really quick because I never can fit it in quick, but I will try my best. So my name is Amber Gale. I am a mom of two. I have an 11-year-old daughter who is sassy and way too much like me for her own good. And I have a son who is 5, who just happens to have some special needs. I work full-time at a corporate career, but I also run a nonprofit called More for Caregivers. And that is the very, very, very short version of who I am.
The rest is going to evolve here right before our very eyes. So as we wait for people to get on and for us to get into some meat and potatoes of the importance of what April's going through, or what Amber has, I'm talking about April already, what Amber's life has changed since her son came into her life, and what a beautiful story that is. So we're going to just start with just some basic stuff right now. And what meaning does living your best life for you have personally right now?
So right now, COVID times.
Right. Yeah.
So one of the things that I do kind of every night before I go to bed is I am really big into planning my days and making sure that really I'm not wasting my time and that I'm finding ways to reach out to the people that I care about. So I go through every night and make sure that I have a plan the next day to reach out to a new friend or to an existing friend and just make sure that they're okay. And I call it my whose day are you going to make today? Or tomorrow, sorry. My piece of paper says today because that's what's on my planner. But I think it's just really important to keep, that support and that, relationships going, because without relationships with people, you're really not doing, the world as much service as you could.
Oh, I love that. And that's so true. I love that. What do you love in your life other than your family right now?
Right now, gosh, you keep throwing in the right now, so I have to think about COVID. No.
No.
I really actually, I don't know how much you can see behind me, but I am definitely a big crafter. So I bullet journal. That's what my planner really is. And I use a lot of washi tape and colored paper and all kinds of different craft materials. So I absolutely love being creative and getting to do, fun things with your artistic skills. I feel like it's super important to have that in your life.
I love that. I love that. So what makes you laugh other than me?
You definitely make me laugh, and in a very good way. But my kids definitely make me laugh a lot. They do something at least once every day. My dog is a 5-month-old golden doodle that we're trained to be a service dog. We have help, thankfully, but he makes me laugh constantly. today he got into a diaper and my daughter was not amused because it was a poopy diaper and it was all over the place. So that was a great experience. And all you can do is laugh. So it's like, even the things that life throws your way that are not, the necessarily the prettiest and the best things to deal with in the world, you kind of just have to laugh through them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go to this right now because after a poopy diaper, this would be funny.
So have you ever gotten yourself in a pickle? What kind of pickle would you say you got yourself into? That you learned the most valuable lesson ever.
Oh, it's a little pickle. Oh, gracious. I'm kind of stuck between like two different things. So one, my
You can
best
tell us
friend,
both.
right? I'll share both just for fun. They'd be pretty quick. That comment you just pulled up, my best friend there is actually from Ireland, and I met her on the internet. So getting myself into the pickle of showing up at Chicago O'Hare Airport, which was 5 hours from my house, to pick up this girl who was flying in internationally, who I had never met in person before in my life, and praying she wasn't a psychopath, was definitely what felt like a pickle at the time. But it's like we have the best friendship that I could ever have hoped for. But there was a real potential for that going south real fast. So there's that one for sure. But in addition to that, actually, she's the sweetest, and I think it was probably more risky for her than it was me. I mean, she's flying to a foreign country. I just drove 5 hours, so I could turn around and go back and leave her there if she freaked me out, I guess. But, oh, sorry, laugh.
I love that. When she says, "I'm totally a psychopath, just a nice kind."
True statement.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
That was perfect timing on her part.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Amber says she's following you in the clubhouse now too. She works full time at corporate child, and child has special needs. Nice to meet you. It's a small world because she and I were talking this morning, and I told her I was having you on my show, which is going to be really exciting that we're going to talk about that here soon. So let me just ask you this question here. All right, which brings us into what we're going to talk about. So what things have you had to let go out loud? Let's go there.
Yep, let's go there. So when my son was born, like, we had no prior knowledge, no anticipation that anything was going to be, quote unquote, wrong with him. So we had a birth diagnosis of Down syndrome. Shortly after that, he turned super blue, and we ended up with a congenital heart defect diagnosis and kind of this whole realm of things. And the big thing that I've really had to let go of is, everybody has those dreams for their kid, those dreams that, you think things are going to go a certain way. And even with this being my second kid, like, I seriously had some dreams about how things were going to go. And I had to let those things go a little bit and kind of accept that they would be, we'd still have dreams, but they're going to look a little bit different. And trying to, make sure we level set that with family and friends as we went along the journey, and just making sure that people understand that, this is still our kid. We still have dreams. We still have hopes and goals for him, but they are just going to look different than what they were originally in our heads.
That's awesome that you could actually let go of that, so you can let go, let God, so you can let live. And so I just love that you came to that. And we actually met in a group. I opened up a room called Laughing for the Soul, and we connected, and I'm just so blessed that the right people came in that room. Really appreciate this. Well, I'm going to get into some questions here that may help some people. I don't usually say, hey, share my show, so to speak, but I feel this is going to be a share my show, because when you hear the story that we're going to talk about, it might help someone else out. So if you would be kind, if you care, if you would share this, because we're going to talk about what made you make a nonprofit, and this may help somebody out there that might need this. So I really would thank you for sharing this. So go ahead, answer the question.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sandy.
So when AJ was born, excuse me, we spent the first full year of his life, almost the entire first full year, in the hospital. And, prior to that, I was a very high performer at work. I was very career oriented. I had goals. I had a very kind of set like plan and path for myself, similar to like I had, in mind for my son. And when he was born, everything kind of got a little derailed. And I definitely got into, you can call it a funk, you can call it a depression, you can call it whatever you feel like calling, but I definitely lost myself is really how I say it. I wasn't interested in doing anything. I was really only focused on him and what his needs were, and had kind of lost that part of me that had plans and had goals and had dreams and had desires for a while. And yep. And a friend of mine, yeah.
I was going to say, do you mind real quick? I want to take this minute and do the intro video one more time. I want you to notice that I made pictures of her with her son. I want you to realize what a blessing, what a beautiful little boy this is. So let's just take a second to watch this video and you could just see the love right here, you guys. I think this is so important to say. He melts my heart. I mean, and when I put tears of joy, it's truly because I'm in love with your son already. I just love him, and you bringing him to the world and making acknowledgement about nonprofit. I think it's so important to say that you if you could pick up the story of how you went from me, and what really, I mean, share on how it just propelled you to get this nonprofit. I think people need to hear that.
Yep. So, it really did. It started with a me thing. Not going to lie. It started with somebody telling me life coaching would be, something that might help me, and me laughing and going, life coaching sounds crazy. Like, I know how to live a life. I go to bed, I go to work. And then I want a free kind of like consultation session, and started meeting with this life coach. My first time I met with her, I bawled my eyes out, and I am not a crier. And I told her at that point, I was like, so now I know I'm going to have to pay you to cry every week because I needed it so much. And really, so from there, my relationship with her just built, in terms of me getting myself back, getting out of my funk, really finding what my purpose was. And I realized that this was something that other parents really, really needed, that it wasn't something that, I'm not a coach. I didn't want to do the coaching myself, but I am a very good at organizing things and getting things pulled together and pulling people together to work together as a team. So that's where the whole nonprofit really got started, is saying people need this coaching, and there are coaches that are out there that are willing to do it. And we just need to get everybody pulled together to really put that support network in place.
I love that. So my next question is going to be, what is your organization's mission then? When you put everybody together, what was your mission on this?
Yep. So we pulled together our organization. It's called More for Caregivers. And what we do is provide personal development opportunities to parents of children who have special healthcare needs. Very fancy words that basically mean that we support you as a parent to chase after whatever your goals and dreams are. Our primary service that we provide is life coaching, one-on-one with coaches who have volunteered. So, if you're a coach and you want to volunteer, absolutely, please reach out to me. But coaches who have volunteered to work with members in the medical special needs community to really help them, get back in focusing on themselves and their goals.
I love that. I love that. So why should donors trust your organization, whether, to trust to coach somebody? I mean, why would they want to do that?
So a few different things. So if you're talking kind of on the financial side, we do have like the platinum seal of transparency through the whole Network for Good thing. We're very transparent about where all of our money goes and our funds go. For coaches, we really want to make sure we invest back in them. So we make sure that there's this monthly coaches meeting where they can meet each other, talk to each other, and we provide enrichment opportunities to make sure that they're learning new things that they can use to help support our members. And for members and everybody else involved, really, we have a pretty good set out contract path that makes sure that, you're not getting pitched the whole time as a member to get services or buy services or do something outside of the organization. So we're very organized in terms of making sure that we're here to provide the service and we're here to support the people who are providing you that service as well as support you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what can your organization offer donors in exchange for donations?
Yeah, so we, aside from that whole like feel good thing of knowing that, a donation really helps provide coaching sessions for those parents and that whole feel good piece. If you go onto our site, you're actually able to donate by purchasing a bracelet. So if you pick up this bracelet, they're ones that my family makes. My daughter is 11 and she helps me out with the stamping. So they're just I don't wish I had one on. I totally didn't think about it, but they're just the metal ring bracelets that say more on them with 3 dots on either side. And they come with this sticker and an affirmation card that helps you kind of fill it out and come up with an affirmation to say something like, I'm more than my kid's mom.
April asks, are the coaching services local or global?
So everything we do is virtual. And that was actually intended regardless of COVID, just because as special needs parents, we don't always have the ability to jump out of our homes and go, to an appointment somewhere or meet somebody somewhere. So our coaches are all over the US and Canada now. We have a Canada coach. And right now, the members that we're coaching largely are in Iowa, but we are working on getting that expanded out of the state. So definitely, I wouldn't say global because I feel like that leaves the US and we haven't done that yet. But yeah.
Well, I think it's great. Great question, April. I really appreciate that. Hi, Theron. Thanks for being here. This is really, really awesome. Okay, so what has your organization accomplished to date? And how long? I'm going to ask you beforehand. So when did you start this organization for nonprofit to help parents out with special needs?
This organization is actually a COVID baby. So it has not been running very long. We launched officially in August. And it was a very quiet launch. We didn't really advertise it a whole lot. It was just like, let's put this out and see what happens. And with one post in a kind of group, a social group for parents of special needs kids, we ended up with 50 some members and then grew to 70 some without any additional marketing. So, it took off quickly based off of one little post. And we kind of went, goodness, we need to put this back end stuff together and make sure we're ready to handle all this. But we've got, right now we have 9 coaches total in our roster, and that's growing. And we have, I want to say we're up to 15 people that are lined up and getting or have already gotten coaching. And the testimonials that have come out of it are really what's kept me going. There's times as a nonprofit, I'm not taking a salary. I'm not getting paid for any of this. And I know some people that run nonprofits do, but this is really just my heart and soul. So what keeps me going is the feedback from people. And, when people come in and they fill out their feedback forms and kind of provide that little testimonial, and the one comment that I think just always sits in my head is the person who had filled out their feedback form, and their feedback was that my family has never been happier. So, it's the whole idea of we're supporting, not just you, but once you're supported, you're able to better support your kid, you're better to able to support your family, and you're better able to support the whole community really around you.
So you brought that great question that I was going to ask you. Can you share 2 stories of individuals whose lives have been changed because of your organization?
Yeah. So the one person that I was just talking about, actually, she has really just provided some awesome, amazing kind of feedback about how things went for her. She went on to continue to work with her coach outside of the initial sessions that she did through us. And then actually shortly after, her husband signed up to get a coach as well, because he'd saw what it had done for her and their family, and he wanted to have, you know, that experience too. So seeing that value just like stream through that whole family was really an amazing thing to watch. It's just, I don't even know, like, that's what keeps me going, man. So that really kind of is two people in one. But a lot of the other ones, you know, working with people to creative expression, like we have a couple testimonials where people were like, you know, I needed to really realize that I needed to take some time to do some more creative things. I needed to take some time to, you know, separate myself from my kid, you know, and just really learn to love themselves some more.
I love that. And I love the fact that you shared that and that your mission, I didn't realize it was just fairly new, but that's fantastic. Those are great problems to have when you get overwhelmed because it shows that that's how much of a need there is out there, and that you're filling a need that other people really truly need. So if there's any way I can help with sharing that out there, my heart would be into doing that of service, because I just love you. I mean, I just love you on such a high level, and I'm thankful for Clubhouse for that, because we wouldn't have connected otherwise. And so you being here and getting out of your comfort zone, because truly she was not feeling it as far as going and doing a live stream, you know. And so the fact that you got out of your comfort zone for the sake of talking about the nonprofit and what you would be doing a disservice as well. You don't come this far to come this far. And so I'm super proud of you. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, because like you said, I can put statistics together. I'm really good on paper, and I've got a lot of people that can talk, but I'm not doing it, and blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't grow until you get out of your comfort zone. So my friend, you're growing out of your comfort zone. Here we are talking about just life in general. And I'm glad that you're not losing sight of who you are. And Cisa's in the house. Cisa's here. Yeah, we couldn't do the show without you, but of course, there you go. You're here. CISO is on Friday, and she's ending it on here or no, she was on Monday, and you're here on Fridays to end it all out. But again, the Clubhouse is a great way to support a lot of people. But my mission as well is I don't like leaving people out. So for all of you Android people, I'm here to just go ahead and bring Clubhouse to you guys and let you know what kind of awesome people are there that are supporting each other. But it shouldn't be segregated just to iPhone users. Great impression of you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Well, you know, the thing is I truly would, I guess I can relate to Android users, because if it wasn't for the fact that I had bought a Note 8 Plus, that was back in the day when I was traveling, that battery was blowing up people, and people wanted to take my phone from me on the plane. So I got converted to iPhone only because Android effed up, made a bad battery, and now I'm an iPhone. But look, I made new friends because of it. So you got to look at the bright side of things. I'm always looking at the bright side of things. I was about to moderate a room and I mismanaged the time. It's okay. We knew you were here in spirit with us, and that's all that matters. So we love you for that. So if anybody has any questions, let us know about the nonprofit, or if you know of anybody that needs to realize to get out of their own way, they need a little help. I've never heard of a nonprofit where, you know, and this is my perception at first. I figured you did a nonprofit because you're like, I need money or I need help, and I'm going to do a nonprofit for that purpose. But to have you here and know that this nonprofit has to do with helping that parent to better themselves as a person and not be lost by the disabilities of their child, I can stand behind that. That is super awesome, because if your cup is not full and you're not empowered to be the best person you can be, you're doing a disservice to your child that has disabilities. and you're disabling yourself at the same time. So people, I think this is really important to realize that here she is starting something to get out of her comfort zone because she knew that it made her better, to be a better loving parent for her child that needs her the most. So if there's anybody that needs any help with just finding themselves and their purpose, I think, Amber, I'm just so proud of what you're doing and the fact that you're doing at a place of love, selfishness. And I just love your son. I tried to do a TikTok with him, and TikTok's messing with me, and I couldn't do one, but he's just such a beacon of life. I mean, he's just what love is about. And I'm just glad that you turned your life around to realize the blessings and not the disadvantages, and the fact that you're like, okay, so my plans are a little different, and that's it. You know, it's just like I was a former bodybuilder, and I took what I felt like, okay, I used to be able to get in shape. I can't get in shape now, but I have the skills. I have to do it a little different. So be it. So it's still, if that's in your mindset, you can do it. So I'm definitely blessed that we have the same mindset. And I love that. So let's answer some regular other questions here. But what's the biggest factor that has helped you to be successful? I mean, you're working a job and you're doing a nonprofit. I mean, and you're taking care of a child.
Yeah.
I'm tired of just saying that.
So funny. I think I can answer this 2 ways. I think the first way I can answer it is help. The hardest thing for me to really get over, and really it kind of ties in with me getting coaching, but is that fact that I needed to be able to ask for help. I was one of those people my whole life, like, I'm not asking for help. I can do this myself. I will paint this whole house if I have to. Like, I can do this. It didn't matter what it was. I'll figure it out. And I think, that I don't know how to call it, but that figure it out ability, really, is useful, and it has definitely helped me with my son. But the learning how to ask for help has helped me so much more. I think that's probably one of the biggest factors, and it's still an area of growth. I still need to learn a little bit more about it every single day, but I've come a long way from where I started. That's for sure.
I love
I'm
it.
going to double up on that one. Can I double up on it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to miss out.
The other thing I would say has really helped with all of this being successful is how it's organically come together. Like, I did not go hunting for coaches, specifically in most circumstances. Like, these people I found them, or, I had talked to a woman, and really she connected me to some other people. And actually one of our first original coaches, she has 2 kids, and they both have the same heart diagnosis as my son, which is incredibly rare to have one kid with that in the first place. So just the connections that have come about, and how organically they've come, and how it's just like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's effortless, because there's definitely a lot of work involved, but it just kind of feels like the connections part, and the getting the people involved, and, finding the people that need the help. It's all been really just organic and full of love, and just makes it feel that much more meaningful.
I'm so glad you shared that. Absolutely. I love that. And I love the fact that it is true. Like, I didn't expect who to show up in my room, but it was the right room. It was the right people that we needed to have. Hey, Mark, how are you? He's a friend of mine that's a great moderator in a lot of the clubhouse rooms. If you're just turning in, this has just been awesome. Amber has a great nonprofit for parents of children with disabilities, and she empowers them by trying to get them coaches. And I just love that. And I love that you've been vulnerable enough to say that you were I can do it myself. I don't need anybody else. And because you had that attitude, I'm going to come down to this question to you, because this is another humble thing, is that if you can recall all the times that you said, I would never do, but you ended up doing. I think people need to understand that, so this is where I always say, oh, I'm never going to be a billionaire. I am never going to be a billionaire. Because if that's how I have it, because never say never, I'm going to say I'm never going to be a billionaire. So if you want to share with us some of the things you said you never do that you humbly find yourself doing, that would help not only you, but other people, letting it go out loud.
Should I start with sitting right here talking to you? Because I did protest that at first. I was like, no, I don't think that's for me. And here I am. No,
And how do you feel?
I love it.
How do you
I'm
feel?
so glad. Yeah. Yep.
Right. You're still alive. You're still breathing. Nothing bad's happening. We connected you with April already, who has a special need. And I believe that she probably thinks this is the great thing of being here. And says, Lynn, you don't even have enough time for her to list that I would never. I know, but this is going to make a good show for me. So hold out. So we're going to work on this whole never say never. So go ahead. Keep going.
Oh,
how
boy.
old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm 55.
I will be 40 this year.
You see, trust me, girl, 15 years, you're going to be so damn wise, it ain't even going to be funny. So keep going. Keep going. Maybe if I could help you never say never again, then I've done my job for today. So go ahead.
I've learned my lesson. I'm not saying never anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So a couple other things. I know that I said at one point, I said I was never going to leave the country because I was scared to get on a plane. I have done that. In fact, I got put on a boat to do a transatlantic leg of a race in a sailing race from South Africa to Boston. So I definitely left the country. And I definitely did not think I was ever going to do that. But I also said I never said I'd never do it. So I don't know if that really counts, because that really was not in the game plan at all. So there's that. I said I was never going to be someone who ran a business like this. I said I was never gonna run a nonprofit because my mom works in the nonprofit world, and I kind of had this back understanding of how it's a lovely, I love the fact that nonprofits exist, but I had this back understanding of how difficult it can be to get funding, to get donors, to really get things running, and how much you have to rely on help and volunteers. And I was not going to ask people for help. So I really did say that I was never going to work in a nonprofit, and instead I am now running one. So there's that.
Can I just bring us some points on that really quick to drive that home to you and everybody else? The fact that she set up all these things because she thought she knew everything about a nonprofit. I think more than anything, first she realized why her mom was passionate about a nonprofit. Would you say that? You had no idea. And then to know that you had made judgments that you're not going to sacrifice and put yourself out there. Now, does God have an amazing humor to actually humble you by the things you say you're never going to do? I truly think that, I truly think people need to understand that. And the fact that you could come out here and profess that, and let it go out loud and laugh about it and realize your bigger purpose in life, damn, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that I got to meet you. I'm so glad that I'm honored I wouldn't even mind volunteering with those women that have really great intuition, that have not listened to that whisper and that voice to know that they should listen more to that inner voice of whatever it tells them, and to know that really is a solution to all of us that we don't listen to. So the fact that you said never would you do that. So what have you learned from it, from the nevers? Now, do you think that, like I said, I'm going to say I'm never going to be a billionaire because I'll worry about that when I get there. But I think, I'm okay with the never on that. But the power of words, people, the power of words.
Absolutely. I like I said, I don't say never really about anything anymore, good or bad. I don't know. It's this unquantifiable thing. You really don't have control over something that you say you're never going to do. And I think back to if you want to talk about things I said I would never do, I would never let my kids go out in public in dirty clothes. really? Like, like all of those things, like before you're a parent, that you've got these ideas about what never really is. And like, I'm going to be this way. And then your kids come along and they're like, yeah, good luck with that, lady. So
My daughter, it reminds me of my own daughter. She'd say, I'm never going to yell at my kids, Mom. I'm like, okay. She calls me, Mom. Like, what's the matter? I'm so sorry. Sorry about what, honey? Oh, no, I know why you yelled.
yeah, the number of
So,
times I have said to my daughter, now I understand so much about my childhood and why my parents were the way they were. It's just hilarious.
you know, and I've told only children this. I told them, I said, you have no children to realize what your parent has tried to prepare you for. You know, it's truly out of love, even though you see the hate, it's truly out of the love that they built where you're at. So I got to stay on this subject with you because I just love this subject because I did it too. I used to do stuff like that too. I never said stuff and I did what I said I never going to do. So when did you realize that you were just professing what was going to happen? I mean, when did you realize it? When did you realize, oh shit, I better watch what I'm saying and doing?
Geez. Probably it was honestly like, I know like the power of your words, and I know I've known that for a while. I've used positive affirmations for a long time, but I really I've been working on the whole like I can't, I never, and it was actually something that my coach brought up to me like way early on in my coaching experience with her. She was like, do you realize how much you say these things and how often that they make you like a liar? And I was like, oh, you're right, I'm sorry. So I think, it's relatively, been recent that I fully acknowledged and accepted it, but I think kind of along the way, like I was just in denial. Like every time you say I'm not going to do something, it tends to, or I'm never, like if you're that like adamant about it, that you've already lost control.
I'm never going to be a billionaire. I'm never going to be a billionaire. Oh gosh,
I hope that works for you.
Oh, I never think it's going to happen though. It's never going to happen. So it's okay. Because that's really big. That's a big thing for it to never happen. But I mean, if we're going to throw things out, I might as well just throw it out to the best knowledge because I can always help people for that. So, so let me go. I've beaten Browd you. Listen to me. I beat that in enough to you, and you realize that. So let's move on. So what's some of your hairy, audacious goals, whether it be nonprofit or your kids or anything?
Yeah, so I'll go nonprofit first. Okay. So right now we are working on our back end development to really be able to better manage our coaches and our members. So our big kind of hairy, audacious goal with that one is to become a global nonprofit where we're able to provide those services in other places, where we're able to kind of partner up with some of those coaching certification programs that are out there and, work with new coaches that are coming in and really have some sort of a training and accreditation that specifically helps people work with children or parents who have children with special needs. I could probably keep going on and on and on forever about how many, crazy dreams that I really hope happen for our nonprofit. But I'll kind of that's the big one. Like I want to be global. I want to help every single parent in the world that could possibly ever need that, bit of support to say that they matter and that their dreams matter too.
Can I suggest something right now that came to my heart to tell you?
Should I say I'm never going to do it?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, seriously. I think that if you haven't already, I just in me to tell you that I feel that you should write a little book of what already transposed your transformation alone, how it's helped you and how you hope it helps others. I feel that you need to do a small ebook on that because just your drive, just knowing you, just your desire to help people, I truly feel that if you just have that as a lead magnet for your list for people, of this is my why and this is how it's helped me. And I'm not only a nonprofit organization president or founder, but this is my story. Your love and your compassion and how you share, I feel that you're going to exponentially grow faster, and putting, the nevers and say, I never thought I would, I was never going to ask for anybody to help. I never was going to ask, I grew up around the nonprofit. I didn't believe in that. Debunk all the things that you debunked, that you felt nonprofits, because like, even to me, I mean, I could tell you, I know the National Red Cross. I mean, I thought it was a good organization, but truly my experience with nonprofit 20 years ago with the Red Cross was, I had a house fire and I had house insurance, so we were covered, okay? But the news reported that we didn't have insurance. Now, this was tricky and propagandish, but I wanted it, and it's a good place for me to share this. They had reported that I had house fire. And so, come to find out, to me, my friends were donating to the Red Cross thinking they were helping me, right? Well, then I called them and said, hey, can you tell me who donated so that I can, say thank you to them, even though they did it on behalf? They said, we can't tell you that. I said, you can't even tell me. She goes, no, we just put the money, the pool in the fund, and that's it. So I just want to say, when somebody has a house fire, help them directly. Not that I'm telling you not to do Red Cross, but what I'm saying is, if you truly want to help that person, you need to go through them, because they took that money. I just feel that nonprofit should have taken that money and not taken it, because it wasn't a direct donation to them. They were trying to help. So nonprofits, depending, and I mean, some of them have admins and profit, they need money to run. And I understand that, and I'm not knocking that. But I learned that if you want to help somebody, sometimes you help them direct. But if you want to help a company or a nonprofit that can help other people, I would definitely donate to this cause of yours, because I would love to see other women be empowered and helped. But again, if there was a specific person I knew that needed help with coaching, I'd probably want to say, hey, Amber, can you make sure this person gets helped, and, help through the donation thing. So I don't know what your other experiences have been with nonprofit that you might want to share, but.
Yeah, so it depends on the nonprofit and how they're set up. But a lot of times when you donate to a nonprofit, there's a way to specify what the funds can be used for. And we do have that through our donation program, that you are able to indicate when you're making your donation to say, I want this to specifically be used for this purpose. The danger of it, like, really, you've got that balance between operating, being able to even operate the nonprofit in the first place is an expense. I mean, I don't take a salary or anything for the nonprofit, but I still have to pay for the website to be up. I still have to pay for the, various, application services, being able to send out our mailing list, things like that, to have Zoom, so that those coaches that come in to work with us that don't use Zoom can have an account to be able to work with their members with, things like that. We do need a general fund. And so if you don't have a specific purpose or cause in mind when you're donating to a nonprofit, it's good to just put it into the general fund so they can use it as they need to. But a lot of them, if you're going to donate and specifically that you want your money to go to X, there's a way to indicate that. So if you're gonna do it that way. But on top of that, being in the special needs community, one of the things that comes up a lot is people do a lot of GoFundMes, a lot of fundraisers, a lot of things to help pay for their hospital stays, their medical expenses, their equipment that insurance doesn't cover. And definitely, I think there's a balance, because it's good to help those people directly too. But then there's, on the other side, those nonprofits help the people that don't necessarily have the network to be able to get that support through those direct donations. So if you're giving to give, a lot of those general funds with nonprofits are amazing. If you're giving for a specific person and I want to help this one individual, yes, absolutely reach out to them and ask where they would prefer it to go.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just different angles, and different things people are thought. So I figured I'd bring that up. We're going to be finished here in about 7 minutes. So, but I want to ask you, what makes a person beautiful to you?
Oh my goodness. Just their heart, their soul, their passions. I think about like my son and just looking at him, like he is just absolutely beautiful to me. Like I don't even know how to explain that one. And I always joke with my daughter, I had a lot of postpartum depression when she was born. When she was born, I was like, I got an ugly baby, and she is beautiful. Like, let me reframe that to say my daughter is absolutely beautiful. But I was dealing with postpartum depression at the time and this whole detachment. And I was like, oh, I got an ugly baby. And he was born, like, he was just absolutely beautiful to me. And he's been that way, you know, his whole life. And she is still beautiful now. She grew on me. I think the problem is she was way too much like me. So I'm not sure what that says about myself now. Oh, I'm off on a tangent in a weird spot. But, you know, I think really it's that, like, just that inner soul, that inner love, that peace that really makes them tick and makes them go, and what really inspires them to be who they are.
You know, and I can say all those things about you in a short amount of time. I know you, that you are beautiful inside, and you don't give yourself enough credit. And yet, I think what's happened is you're starting to love yourself and love the fact that, man, the girl I used to be, I'm not. And you've grown into the person you're meant to be. And that's just beautifully said. And the fact that you can say, you know, you can acknowledge where you are and where you were. And that's what's amazing. And I'm just so blessed to call you like my little sister. I'm just blessed to see you blossom, to help any way I can, to be a voice, or help you have a voice and help you do a show. I'm going to be there, girl.
I should have put that in my nevers. I'm never going to have a podcast of my own. I did tell you that, didn't I?
Well, yes and no. If I have to push you and be your co-host to get your butt out there, we're doing it. We're doing it. I've offered to one other person. I'm offering people to get out of their comfort zone. So let's end it on a happy note here. So what's the funniest joke you know by heart? You got to know silly jokes or some funny story you can tell me.
I can tell you fun stories, I guess. I mean, my dog eating a diaper this morning wasn't enough today, but
that but that was a visual I could deal with. That.
I'm sorry, I gave that one to you. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, do it, Amber. Do it. You see, she wants to hear you say a joke.
Yeah. See, so the funny thing is actually in one of my corporate meetings that we have a joke like every single week. Somebody like looks up a really bad like dad joke and shares it at the end of our meetings. And I am totally not able to like remember a single one of them right now. But I can tell you, so we were talking about TikTok.
This is normally.
Come on. You can do better than that. Answer the question.
So actually, if you go on my TikTok, which is Aaron and Amber's family, and it's mostly AJ, but the very first TikTok we did, we actually played a joke on my husband where he was outside and we put cups of water on our bathroom floor. And we went outside to get him in a panic and in a rush and said, you need to come inside quick. There's water on the bathroom floor. And he came in the house. And I'm just busting up laughing the whole time. I was busted before he even got in the house. But he came in the house and he just looked at me. He goes, you're dumb. Because there's all these cups of water on the floor. He's like, there is water on the bathroom floor. I'm like, yep. And the only reason that's in my head is because you had me on TikTok yesterday, trying to make sure that I got you added on there. Because I try to, I'm not on there as often as I should be, but I did. I went back and I replayed that one and I was like, oh yeah, that was really funny.
That's awesome. Would you, after we're done, follow back up and put your like page, your business page on there, so that anybody that wants to follow you and your son, that would be great. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys found some value in this and realize the love of a mother and a child, the love of her being in a healthier place to be a better mom and to have a better family. Amber, I'm just proud to know you and I love you. And I just hope you felt the warmth of how much I appreciate you and your vulnerability. And I definitely want you back more. Is there any favorite quote before we leave?
Oh gosh.
That you like?
So actually I've been getting it beaten to my head by a few friends of mine, and it's not really necessarily a quote, but it's just that phrase of empowered women empower women. So, you know, just I that's become like the mantra behind the mantra behind everything that, you know, I'm focused on and doing in my life. So that's really a big thing. You know, not that men can't be empowered too, but that whole empowered women empower women thing has really stuck with me.
That's awesome. I appreciate that so much. You guys, we're just going to get out of here really quick. Amber, you stay right there. But I'm going to leave us again with just a little visual of her and her son that I totally have fallen in love with. And I'm so proud that you were here. And thanks, guys, again. And feel free to share this out. I love you. And let me see. What do we got here? I love this too, Sisa. All right.
And
So
thank
you guys
so much, Lynn. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I love you so much and appreciate. I'm so glad that we connected on Clubhouse. I really am.
I know. Me too. Me too. So don't go nowhere. All right, everyone. See you later. Thank you.